No, so on the other address. The main person to address today is Dr. Nabwiso. But I will address you on some issues on the status of the party as we are moving to the next stage. So I don't want to waste a lot of your time. I want to introduce these two gentlemen here. Very, very young, as you can see them. Because they removed the age limits now, they may be 2 years. But next, the gentleman next to me is Dr. Nabwiso, Frank. Most of you have heard about him, but I can say he has been a lecturer in many universities for a long time, and he has a doctorate. He's not a doctor of medicine. He's a doctor of PhD, which means whatever he learned to the maximum. There's nothing he did not learn in his field. Next to him is Mr. Kasoji from Okono. He's a former minister in government. When you look at him, you think he's a normal man. Not in government, but Museveni's government, the first NRM government, was a former minister. These two gentlemen here are part of the group that were part of that elders committee, which everybody has been referring to. The elders committee, where all of us were waiting for their report on some allegation which had been made. These two gentlemen and 5 others were appointed on the orders of the National Council, which asks the NEC of FDC to appoint elders to look into the issues which Dr. Besigye had mentioned in that National Council of that time. When he mentioned those issues, some of them now we are privy to, Honorable Nandara replied to him. A good number of you have never known what Honorable Nandara replied to Dr. Besigye. But I'm not going to mention it here, because National Council is wisdom says we should not take it out. We should form an elders committee to look into those issues. What Dr. Besigye said leaked out. What Mr. Nandara replied to him that time did not leak out. All of you are aware that today, a good number of you are here. When those discussions started behind there, I was forced to chase you away. Sorry, but I chased you away. Tactically, you did not know that I was chasing you away, because I didn't want you to hear what is happening behind there. I apologize for that. But I had to do it because that was my duty, to protect the image of the party. So after that NEC conference, there were more than 250 people. When they listened to the issue they were talking about, they said these issues here are not for us to discuss here. I think they better be discussed by elders who are older than these people who are saying them here. So, National Council instructed NEC to appoint senior elders who are well known to everybody and respected by everybody to look into these issues. Honorable Muriat, as the party president and chairman of the NEC, had the responsibility to look for names of people to be on this committee. And something I want to clear, I heard somewhere someone saying Mr. Muriat was also accused. How could you choose a committee? By that time, nobody had accused Mr. Muriat. And nobody should lie to you about that. Nobody. And it was not in the fray. The NEC members can tell you. By that time, it was Nandara and Dr. Besigye who exchanged down there. So, Mr. Muriat brought those names to management. By chance, I was on that management that day personally. These two gentlemen were not there. And we discussed, there were 9 names then. We discussed the 9 names. And then we agreed to remove 2 names. As you know, FDC, we must have national character. That's the first thing we start with. Whatever we are doing, someone must come from east, north, central, and west. The first rule we start with that way. If we are choosing 4 people, they must be coming from those regions. We are doing this because some people, whoever are doing the party, wants to see himself in that mirror. A party is a mirror. If you don't see yourself in that mirror, you cannot join that party. So we agreed that we must have a national calendar. So those names were taken to, 7 names were taken to them. The 7 names were passed by all members of NEC who were there that day, chaired by Honorable Deputy. NEC instructed President Amuriat to take those names which are passed to the 2 people, to Honorable Nandala and to Dr. Besigye. Those names were taken to Dr. Besigye, and he approved all of them. He had no problem with any of them. They were taken to Honorable Nandala, he approved them. And then we agreed that when you choose the 7 people, they will choose their own chairman. Not asked to choose for them anything. And there were terms of references, which Doctor agreed upon and Honorable Nandala agreed upon. So after choosing them, Honorable Amuriat went to inform them that now they are going to help us to do this work. Because all these people here had FDC at heart. A good number of them were founder members, and others were people who are high in society as far as reputation is concerned. So that's how Mr. Nabwiso committee was formed. All of us agreed on the names. There's no single person who can lie to you that did not agree with this committee. Doctor agreed, Honorable Nanda agreed. That's why they appeared before them. So now I want to hand over the microphone to Honorable Nabwiso to address you. After he has addressed you, I will address you something about elections. Just a little. That's what I said to you. So, Honorable, you can speak. Speak up a bit.
Today is 9th August 2023. And we have agreed to issue a press release from the special FDC Leaders Committee. Our address is titled Honorables Besigye, Amuriat, and Mafabi will still be needed when rebuilding FDC. Good morning, honorable members of the press. We salute you for the great struggles you are engaged in to become the 4th estate in Uganda's governance system. You are very, very important in our struggle for democracy and basic human rights of Uganda. The purpose of this press release is fourfold. There are 4 objectives. 1, to remind you, the pressmen, of the terms of reference which our SEC means Special Elders Committee, requested to concentrate on during our investigations. 2, to respond to some of the allegations which some of the senior FDC leaders have made against us. 3, to reiterate some of the recommendations we propose to make FDC stronger in the future, particularly in the next 30 months. That is from September this year to December 2025, before the next fraudulent general elections in January 2026. 4, to remind Ugandans that political liars and fraudsters are found in other political parties in Uganda. In short, what is happening today in FDC is also happening in other political parties. The NRM has 2 presidential candidates, a father and a son. UPC has 2 presidents, the son of the late Dr. Bote and Peter Walugezi. DP has 2 factions, one led by Mao, who has now gone away, and Dr. Besigye. Jema, I have not heard anything from them. And CP. But we are scared that such things which we are going through may also happen. No. So we want to pray to them, be steady, and not go to the situation in which we are today. This release is our clarion call and a humble appeal to all FDC leaders in different corners of Uganda to stop washing our political underwears in the public and confusing innocent members at the grassroots. It is based on the FDC's motto: one people, one Uganda, or one Uganda out there. We should rise above our individual interests, religious beliefs, and ethnic groups, because we are one people who belong to one country. As is already known, on Friday, 20th July 2023, 5 members from SEC us formally presented our 19-page report to the FDC National Council meeting here in the FDC headquarters. The 5 were me, Prof Nabwiso, the chairperson of the committee from Busoga sub-region, Tiko Martha Ondoga, a lady from West Nile, who has not been able to travel here. Emusu Joe Edieku from Tesi sub-region is not here. Mukalazi Kibuka and this big man, Robinson Kasumi. They come from Uganda. The 6th member, Stanley Tugume Katembeya from Ankole sub-region, and who was my vice chairperson, resigned from the committee after participating in the formulation of the first draft of this report. While Charles Makaru from Kanungu did not attend any meeting for unknown reason. Honorable Amuriat, the current FDC party president, who officially appointed us, revealed as Chikonyoga said that our names were approved by the FDC National Committee on 12th May 2023. We therefore got the impression that we were appointed on merit and not as sycophants to some of the current FDC leaders. Our terms of reference. These are going to be distributed to you after this meeting. Even this document is going to be distributed to you so that you can use it as a reference point. We want you to note that we were given 8 terms of reference. We were directed to focus on reconciling the aggrieved parties in FDC, but not to create more divisions among them. The term of reference number 6 also gave us 10 days to carry out our investigations and make appropriate recommendations to enable the party to move forward more peacefully and responsibly. So those who believe that we did show the work can still call for another committee. They can still request for another committee to satisfy their assertions. We are also aware that even World Bank reports have been criticized by different scholars and ordinary analysts. So our report is not perfect, and none of us who wrote it is perfect. None of us has claimed it to be perfect or to be holy. We live on earth, we don't live in heaven. And now I wanted to turn to some of the allegations which have been made against us. The first one is that we doctored the report in favor of Mafabi. All that he dictated to us what we should write about it. This allegation came from some newspapers, allegedly from Honorable Ibrahim Manda Semuju, Honorable Elias Lukwago, and Doni Nyanjura, the MP for Kira, the Lord Mayor of Kampala, and the Deputy Mayor of Kampala, respectively. We believe that those 4 people are entitled to their opinions about us. But it is still their responsibility to prove that we don't have independent minds. This gentleman has introduced me and him. This is a former minister. I'm a former professor, former vice chancellor of Soga University, former MP for Kagoma County in the 7th Parliament. I'm one of the 50 people who rejected the 5 million shillings to remove presidential tablets from the constitution. I'm the only one who presented the Rwakitura Plan of 1993, where 77 people sat and said that they wanted to rule Uganda for 50 years. And we have gone for the 38 years, so 12 more. If not, another 50 years. Dr. Besigye, the first president of FDC, whom we have high respect for, described our report as not being worthy the paper it was written on. So according to him, even the paper he wrote on was useless, not worth reading. He further asserted that one, he gave us the serial numbers of the new notes of shillings 300 million, which Honorable Mafadi asked him to keep in his house in Kasangati for FDC election agents. He also said that we did not resolve the unresolved data money, and that we did not inquire into the current accounts and the financial records of the party using forensic methods. That in Honorable Mafabi's statements to us, he never mentioned the shillings 280 million which he gave to Honorable Amuriat. He also said that we parroted. A parrot is that bad which. We parroted Honorable Mafabi's lies that the shillings 300 million was for party agents. And that lastly, he said that we selected and inaccurately recorded what he told us. Our response is as follows. Our terms of reference advised us not to engage in witch hunting games. If Honorable Mafabi had deposited the shillings 300 million elsewhere, if for example I had hidden it in my house, would I have gone out to say I have this money? Would Dr. Besigye have known and initiated this saga? Additionally, Dr. Besigye never disclosed to us the name of his informer from State House about the data money as he called. It is also true that Honorable Muriat admitted to us that he indeed obtained shillings 280 million from our family for his presidential campaign. Honorable Mafabi was authorized to borrow money by the party, for the party. And Honorable Mafabi complied. He also tendered some bank papers which he showed that he withdrew money from his own bank account. On the other hand, Dr. Besigye did not prove to us that money came from State House. I think according to the Monitor today, Dr. Besigye has shown the serial number of the new notes of money which he recorded, which he says came from State House. But it is also true that the State House pays money to its clients, suppliers of this or that, goods and services, and that money still ends up in commercial banks. It is also true that the money that Nandala took to Dr. Besigye was not the same money that Dr. Besigye gave back to FDC. The other ills we identified, we said that Dr. Besigye's refusal to campaign for Amuriat in 2020-21 disadvantaged other FDC candidates. But in his lengthy report here, he did not make any comment on that matter. Nor did he respond to our observations on the need for the party to continue participating in elections, while it can also organize other activities to pressurize the government to bring political and socio-economic reforms. He did not say in this report, this publication, anything about the growing disagreements between the Katonga group and the Najana group. But Katonga is not independent. It's not a breakaway group. It is a part and parcel of Najana. Najana is in charge of implementing the work plan of the party. Our recommendations to make FDC stronger. We made 8 recommendations to help the party grow. We stressed the following needs. We said there is need for reconciliation, tolerance, grooming younger leaders, amending the FDC constitution in some parts, developing party alliances in Uganda. In Kenya, for example, they usually have 2 presidential candidates only. In the last election, Ruto had several political parties which united and voted for him. Raila Odinga also had 3 or 4 political parties in Azimio Alliance which voted for him. We have not yet reached there in Uganda because we have had a military government from 1966. The day we will also think about forming a political alliance to fight against dictatorial rule. In this country, we will thank God. We also recommended that a book should be written on the history of FDC. And the people who have contributed to the party, the growth of the party, should be highlighted. And we believe that President Besigye should be highlighted in that book because of the sacrifices he has made for Uganda. That is why we are sad that the president is undermining his own legacy. And you want to appeal to him on our bended knees that he does not do that. We also say that management of African opposition parties is no easy task. Not everybody in the FDC is a manager or can manage an institution. Yes, I have been a vice chancellor of a university. But if you put me in a political party to manage it, I may not be able to manage it. And we also, in our report here, we showed the books that we read to prepare this report. And let me mention them. Not a book and some books and paper. There is already a book, a paper called Forum for Democratic FDC, Democratic Historical Planning. It has not been published yet. We also have additional suggestions to the committee from Besigye. We have Kalinaki Daniel's book entitled Kiiza Besigye and His Unfinished Revolution. We want that revolution to be completed. That is to create a people's government and not a government of a few people. One professor from Usonga wrote a book called In Defense of Besigye's Rights. And the Sabbath Jack gave us a book, a paper called My Thoughts About the Problems in the Tools. I will not mention the others, but what I wanted to explain is that some people may be whispering messages, wrong messages, to Kiiza Besigye to destroy his legacy. Lastly, I want to stress this. We have only 30 months to have general elections in January 2026. One party has already identified 2 presidential candidates. The other parties have not identified their presidential candidates. So we should not waste time bickering on things which we cannot prove. We should focus on what is positive. What Ugandans want, they want change in power. And therefore, I want you to help us, help FDC, not to waste the time, valuable time, but to bring out the current problems this country is facing. Our population growth tells us that in 27 years' time, Uganda will have 103 million people. Kampala is 5 million today. In the next 20 years, it will be 10 or 15 million. What do we do with the population growth? Matia Kasaija, the Minister of Finance, told us in 2018-19, when he was reading the budget, that Uganda's economy, 69% of the economy, is in the hands of foreigners. Who is building these high scrapers in Kampala? Who has brought all sorts of foreigners? Our educational system is pouring out 500,000 people every year who cannot get employment. And you know